Hey everybody, welcome to Power Hour, starring me, Ron Harrison, of course, the one and only Giles Tiger Thomas. This week we're going to do a very, very quick recap of the Tsunami Pro Show in France and then look at the Olympia competitors at 10 days out. Getting excited there, Giles? 10 days to go.
Always.
That's our Super Bowl now. I've said you are a true fan. The Europeans are better fans because you have to stay up very, very late to watch the Olympia. In fact, I think if it wraps up, let's say if it finishes at 1 a.m., that's being very conservative, in Las Vegas, that's 4 a.m. for me, and that is, I don't think the clock's changed by then. You were 9 in the morning for you. Wow. So you guys out there in Europe and places where you have to stay up all through the night, like Australia, God bless you guys. Let's take a real quick look. So kind of a shocker here in France, a place called Lille, I don't know, Lille. We expected Quint Beastwood, to walk away with this at his fifth attempt at a win, and this was the first opportunity to qualify for the 2026 Olympia. And I thought he looked really good, but this guy next to him, Giles, I didn't. You've heard of him. You had an idea who he was. We're talking about Sergey Danilov there next to Quint. What'd you think? This was quite a matchup.
Yeah, he looked really good. Actually, after we did the preview last week, I looked at the list again, and I to be honest, it's on me because normally I'll always go through the list and I'll make my mental notes before we start. Sometimes actually make physical notes. But when I saw Sergey's name on there, I thought, oh shit, we should have mentioned him because I did think he might be a top 5 consideration.
Yeah.
So that's on me. That's on us both. Because not very often does this really happen. Does someone come in completely out of nowhere? And but he has me. I think I forget the show where he got 5th. It was earlier in the season, and I did know kind of how good he was because Bodybuilders Without Borders was raving about him, and I was like, actually, he's really good. And I have been following him for a couple of months. And yeah, I should have. I'll learn in future to check the competitor list right before we film because I completely missed that one. But with Quint, he looked good. I didn't pay much attention to the show. I was just kind of looking on Instagram, some of the updates. And I actually said, I think Quint's got this because he's kind of, Sergey was obviously just bigger, denser, grainier, more detailed, drier. But I did think Quint's shape and structure would be enough to carry him through to the win. So it was a close one, even though the judges' score said he won straight firsts. But the one thing that stands out for me is just his legs from the side. I mean, my God, his legs are just crazy, aren't they?
Definitely. You know, the only knock I heard people, you can't see it there because the metal's covering. He's got a little hernia. He's got a little pinky sticking out of his belly button. And in his Instagram page, you can see he keeps it taped up when he's training and everything. He's got tape all over it. But to me, that it wasn't distracting enough. I mean, he's a big dude. Still, though, I feel awful for Quint because I thought this was a really good look for him. I thought this was probably very close to what we saw in Tampa, which was a pretty good look. He was a little on the flat side of condition. So where does Quint go from here? That's the question I guess I want to ask you is he doesn't seem to want to have a coach. Do you think a coach would or could make a difference for this man?
It all comes down to how he feels because I think he peaked quite well for some of these shows. I don't think it's a question of missing his conditioning because he was bigger and harder than than he was for this year anyway. So I don't know if he's moving forward and he feels happy not having a coach and he knows what he's bringing to the stage. I suppose it's up to him. You know, it's literally up to him what he does. But as far as, did you ask about what he wants to do next in terms of competing, or was it just coaching?
Just coaching, but obviously, I think he does need more size. You know, I wish it was.
He does.
It was still on Instagram, but Samson posted a picture backstage at the 2019 Vancouver Pro, where Hadi won. We all remember that show. And in 2019, Quint was backstage with Samson, and at that time, Quint was bigger than Samson.
Wow.
So, I mean, what does that tell you? That tells you that he does need to level up in the size. He does have incredible shape. I'm a huge fan of this guy's shape, but he needs to be bigger. He needs to take that next level up step like Samson did, and that's when he's finally going to – he shouldn't be taking second place. 4 second places in in 8 weeks, out of 4 out of 5 shows, he was second place. That's got to sting. And, he's got to have a fire lit under his butt right now.
Imagine him with like Urs or Lewis Breed's like density and conditioning. I mean, that's a sort of threat to the Olympia title, really, because the thing is, how many good guys have we seen with great structure that have never quite got to that next level that they need to? Like Samson, like in 21, 22, where you could beautiful shape and structure, great symmetry, just needed more size and just more of everything. And that's exactly what Quint kind of needs to do now. So I was thinking before, what would he do next? Would it be right to try and get an invite to the Arnold? But I think that's way too soon. I think he really, really needs. I suppose having a coach might be beneficial, not for pre-contest, but for off-season.
Yeah.
Because if he did a real sort of like, right, okay, if I want to come back next year and stop taking second places and third places, I realistically can't step on stage until I'm at least, say, minimum 10 pounds heavier. Because a guy that height, 5 pounds is going to do nothing. You're going to barely notice it. He might put like quarter of an inch on his arms, on his legs, with 5 pounds, because he's a 6 foot guy. So really, minimum 10 to 15 pounds for next year in kind of the conditioning that we expect of him to bring to the stage. So I would say maybe go do Texas next year as a way of doing one of the later qualifiers, because he needs more size on that upper body, because the legs, the fine, the lower body, he's good to go. But the upper body, imagine just more size on that upper body. He's probably one of those guys that the more size he puts on, the crazier his lines look.
Yeah.
It's not gonna ruin his shape. It's actually probably going to enhance it, exactly like Samson did.
Yeah, and I mean, I keep coming back to the gentleman we haven't had on since that 2-hour shouting match, Milos. He's the one who did it for Samson, and I'm sure Quint has heard all these comments, not only in the podcast but on Instagram. Get with Milos. I wonder if there's been any discussion. I'd be curious to know.
Yeah, because I mean, you can't deny what Samson and Milos did together, because Samson was at a certain level, and the only thing that changed him was when that timing, and obviously got with Hostile and everything, which meant he could give up his job and go as bodybuilding full time. Because I think that played a part as well. It's not just about Milos telling him to do this, and this with training and eating. It's about the fact that it was around the time, because it went to Korea, and then obviously John Meadows died. He had his job, and then he lost his job, didn't he? Samson lost his job because he was he flew off to Korea to compete. They found out and fired him. And then I know that him and Marlena were they're really struggling at that time. And then Hostile came in because he was impressed with what Samson did in Korea. And obviously, all these factors play a part in Samson kind of really going all in. And I mean, completely all in. I'm not saying he wasn't before, but, all in bodybuilding. Yeah. And basically becoming a full-time bodybuilder, which obviously Hostile allowed him to become. So it's not always just the coach telling them to take this, and do this and do that, because I'm sure Quinton knows how to eat, knows how to train. But maybe, I know sometimes it can be, they say it's about gear and this coach just tells you to do this and stuff, but it's actually a combination of factors that he really probably does need to not change, but because he's amazing as he is, but he needs to really alter to maybe the off-season plan to really start pushing the body weight now, because if he doesn't put another 10 pound on, I think these second and third places are just going to become commonplace for him.
Yeah, and I mean, this is no disrespect against the people who've been beating him this year. Jordan's great, Ertz is great. I mean, but this guy should be winning. He shouldn't be losing all these shows.
Yeah.
The fact that he's still yet to win a pro show, that boggles my mind. He's been, I think since 2018. I think he's been an active pro now for at least 6 years. I want to say 7 in the open category, and he still has not had one win yet. That's got to gnaw away at him at some level. But anyway.
But Ronnie's really got to thicken up that upper body, mate. I mean, like you said, shape will only take you so far. Even Flex Wheeler, when he was winning the Arnold Classic at 218, he knew that to go up against guys like, because obviously it was Dorian and then Ronnie, he knew he had to put on size. And, he basically, compare the 93 Arnold to the 98 Arnold. They're two completely different physiques, but he knew he had to do that to really go up against the likes of Ronnie and Dorian.
Yeah, and this Russian guy was a lot thicker and denser than he was.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I was with Lewis in Sweden last weekend, and and I leant over the chair and I said, God, imagine Quinton with your density and conditioning. He said, he'd be a multi-pro show winner, be a top 6 Olympia guy. So, he knows what he needs to do. He just, like I said, you can only get so far in shape and structure. And I think he's hit that ceiling now. So he needs to come back 10, 15 pounds heavier. But a long off season, don't be afraid to kind of come out the spotlight a little bit and come back in, say, do Texas or Tampa next year.
Right on. All right, let's start talking about the Olympia. We're doing our predictions next week, guys. Next week. In fact, Giles and I talked about doing 2 different shows. Otherwise, it's going to be power 6 hours. Open is definitely worth its own. And then, of course, Classic and 212. But let's start from the top with the reigning Mr. Olympia champion. Samson has not put out any updates as far as showing the full body. But we're getting a glimpse. We're getting glimpses here and there. His videos. He's got his tank top on, or I think you call it a vest, right? Over there. So we see the fullness and the condition. These are fairly recent shots. I don't see him downsized like people were fearing he would be. But then again, we're seeing gym shots where he's fully pumped. It's hard to say. We're not going to know if he's going to come in with a more streamlined package than ever before. I mean, you have a great eye, and you followed him since day one. Can you get any indication from these little glimpses we're seeing?
Not really, but I think what he did, I was thinking about this morning when I was making my breakfast. I think what he did in Romania was smart because, especially with appearances and stuff like that, I think he knew that the only thing that these other guys could match or take him on was conditioning. So I think he wanted to push for conditioning really early, get in condition, hold it, and then, like a lot of these guys, they kind of eat up into the show, and then kind of monitor. Because the thing is, you can't afford to leave it to the last minute and then be like 2 weeks out, like, shit, the conditioning's still not there. I think it was a smart thing because at 6 weeks out, his glutes and his hams looked really, really tight. But obviously he was looking kind of flat, which is, but I think we're going to see a more conditioned package of Samson this year, 100%. And I'm hoping he hasn't. I don't want him to see. I don't want to see because he's got beautiful symmetry. He'll have better conditioning. That's in no doubt this year. But I just hope he doesn't come out and kind of look. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll be too like flat or streamlined.
Yeah, I mean, what we were sort of speculating that we didn't know his game plan, him and Marlena, but
I still think it's going to be enough to retain the title.
Yeah, I mean, what I was hoping he would do, and it looks to me like he is probably doing this, is get in shape early, best condition he's ever been in, and then fill out a little bit more. So we're not going to see a flat downsized Samson. I think we're going to see a lighter Samson. I bet he's going to be closer to 290 than 300.
I agree.
And that's exactly where he needed to be. Obviously, he won regardless, looking the way he won last year. But that losing the Arnold Classic to Derek earlier in the season, I think that really motivated him to bring something we've never seen before.
Because see, like I said, even if he's 10% smaller, it might still be enough to retain the title. I remember when Ronnie really came down in 2002, and I mean that actually left the door open to be beaten. Like you say, Jay Cutler had turned up. But I think he really, really took to heart the conditioning issue, because at the end of the day, someone like a Derek shouldn't really be beating someone like a Samson if both are on, because Samson is bigger.
I found it.
There you go. What?
Okay, so this was 2019 Vancouver Pro. Look at that.
There you go.
So I don't know. I think Quinton's bigger. Well, let's say, Quinton was bigger than him. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So look at the difference, Samson there to the Samson we're seeing right now.
Even Samson ate that Samson.
And Sibusiso
Katello from South Africa.
Sibusiso was significantly bigger than Samson here.
Yeah, yeah.
So Samson, whatever he did between then and 2023 with Milos, I think they started in I think they worked together from 2021 to early 2024. Regardless, however long it was. Yeah, look at Samson. Big difference. So, yeah, I'm looking at that.
But the thing is with Samson, he's got the best symmetry. He's got the best proportions. He's got the height. He's got the structure. He's got the balance. He doesn't really have a weak pose. The only thing that he could be caught on, which is exactly what happened at the Arnold Classic, is that he can be beat on conditioning. Yes. So he's not stupid. Him and Marlene are not stupid. They know that the only thing that they could be taken out on is something like conditioning. So I do expect to see, like I said, a slightly, I don't want to say the word smaller, but lighter version. But because I noticed at the Arnold Classic, the waist was a tiny bit wider. Now, they would have analyzed that. And also, it made his back shots look less impressive, because I thought his rear lat spread at the Olympia last year was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I think it blew everyone away. I think the only one that came close was Martin. But so it kind of spoiled the X frame. So I think he's going to come in with a tiny waist. I think he's going to be really sharp. And I reckon he'll do what he did at the Olympia last year. I think he'll fill out beautifully for the second day. I think it might be close at the prejudging at the Olympia, I'll be honest. But I think at the finals, I think he'll close the door like he did last year.
Right on. So you'd think Hadi or Derek would be the next person that everyone was talking about, but Nick Walker is getting so much buzz, especially over the past couple weeks. I mean, look at this.
Oh,
that is just godly. I mean, I'm trying to remember, that's up there with the thickest guys that I've ever seen in the sport. Guys like Marcus Rule, Dennis James, Nasser. I mean, it's not that pretty aesthetic physique, but
Who cares?
I mean, for a lot of people, this is bodybuilding. What we're looking at right here, this is what a Mr. Olympia should be. Just gobs of conditioned thick muscle. Wow. I mean, I at this point, I would not be surprised if he manages to win. I think Samson would have to be a little off for that to happen. I don't think 100% Samson can be beaten by anybody. But Nick, for a guy that Bob Ciccarello earlier in the season, I'm sure he now kind of regrets saying it, was saying I would announce you in 8th place. People are talking about Nick. People are talking about Nick for the win.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I've got him second this year, unless Samson comes in, either looks just over dieted or somehow the conditioning doesn't kind of. But that's irrelevant, because I think he's going to be conditioned. I think the only thing that could happen where Nick beats Samson is if Samson has basically come down too far and basically just gets out freaked, because Samson's got aesthetics, but he's physically still a big guy. And you see that when you actually speak to him face to face, or you see him on stage next to the other guys, the height, the stature, the structure. So the only thing that could happen is if Nick just comes in and completely dominates him in terms of thickness. But things, when it comes down to pose for pose, I do think Nick has more weak shots than Samson. So, and things, and another thing is, that Nick is going to be in condition, mate. When has he ever not been in condition? The only thing that can upset his chances of, I think, taking him out of that second place is the midsection, because the judges are going to be looking for it. Or if for the first time ever he doesn't come in condition, I'll be honest, I'd put money on that he 100% comes in condition.
Yeah, I mean, he's been looking very lean for a long time. Yeah. The only shots I'd say Samson right off the bat, Samson beats him in the front double and the front lat spread, not even a question.
100%. But
side shots, I think Nick's freakier. We'll see. And the back shots, are very, very strong for Nick too. So it's going to be tough.
There's one thing. I still feel like he needs more chest. It really bugs me. People say he's got short femurs and stuff, and that kind of only really correlates from the front. The side and the back, Nick's legs are fantastic. But I wish he had more chest, because I think it's because his back, his shoulders, his arms are so freaking huge. I think I just feel like I just wish he had a bit more chest density. That's been super nitpicky. But I watched this video as well, and I'll be honest, I did look at the midsection here. Yeah,
but it's I wouldn't say it's common, but I've seen that over the years where guys who have these massive shoulders and arms, the chest oftentimes is not as impressive. I don't know if they have a hard time connecting to it when they train, but still, it's a minor point. This guy is just the freakiest. He's the freakiest guy on that stage. He will be. There's no doubt about it.
The reason I think is because a lot of bodybuilders now are very shoulder dominant. Look at Keon. Keon's delts are much, much bigger than his chest. And to me, it's something, I don't think a lot of people even notice it. But for me, it's the first thing I noticed, because the thing is, I'm looking at the Ronnies, the Chris Cormiers, the chest, the Sean Rays, the chest of those days, back in the. But I feel like now chests. I mean, even the 70s chests were better then compared to their shoulders. But now, like I said on the Power Hour before, I feel like it's reversed now. I feel like shoulders, and I'll be honest. I think a lot of it's to do with them pinning their delts. I really do, and I know I keep going on about it. I'm sure I'm pissing off a lot of people, but I do. And also, have you seen the way some of them hit their most musculars? Now, only in the last 10 years, we've seen guys hit most musculars and nothing happens with the chest. There's no striations, no everything, because it's almost like the shoulders are too full of stuff. It's like they can't connect it when they're training because I think there's too much oil and scar tissue in there. And also, a lot of bodybuilders, you know who they are. When they hit that most muscular or they do anything, or even the side chest or like nothing really happens. Nothing really kind of comes alive with the chest. So that's my opinion. Take it or leave it.
Fair enough.
Tough titty.
It's tough titty. Let's keep going. So here's the guy that controversy over. Was he here? Did he get his visa? He's here. Yep. He's in Texas. He's training with his former coach. I wish I could put let me put air quotes around that. Former coach Hani Rambod, because I think Hani's still coaching him. Yeah. So this is Hadi. This was 3 days ago. Some people think the physique's going downhill. Obviously, his fans don't have that sentiment. I think.
But they're not bodybuilding fans. They're Hadi fans. And remember, like I said, there's a big difference.
Oh, 100%. Now he had just put up something. Someone.
I actually sorry to a thought popped into my head. I was chatting. I was on Instagram and I was talking about the classic guys, the top three, and Mike Summerfield wasn't happy with hers because he said there's no support or something. And it's like, what? Because he said there's no support from the German crowd because I think Urs said that he had Ramon winning the Olympia, even though he didn't specify the top three. And basically someone said, well, there's not one single Brazilian fan that isn't supporting Ramon for the win. And I said, well, then they have no objectivity because they're Ramon fans, not bodybuilding fans. The difference is we're bodybuilding fans that are analysts that won't. Like, I'm not saying Samson's going to win because he's British. It's because I genuinely think he's going to win. So anyway, that's a little rant over.
You've been accused of favoring the UK bodybuilders so many times, and I've never seen that from you. Not once in all the years that we've been working together. I've never seen you favor anybody from being any particular country. And I don't favor American bodybuilders. I just happen to be a lot more familiar with them. So if I gloss over some of these guys, it's only because out of ignorance. It's not a bias. But so this is the most recent update of Hadi, and he's looking like Hadi.
Yeah.
It's trademark Hadi Chupan. He's brought a very similar package for the last 6 years, but it was good enough to win the Olympia. It's been good enough to be in the top 2 and 3 several times. So he could get it back. I mean, I don't think anybody would be falling out of their seats if he manages to get the title back.
I don't see him winning it, mate. I don't. I think you brought it up in the right order because we didn't talk about this beforehand, but the order you brought these guys up is exactly the order I have them in. I think I'm going to try and put a positive spin on this. I'm going to say that Hadi looks as good as he's always looked. Yeah. But for me, I'm not seeing anything new. The only thing I hope for is that actually Samson said this. I watched a clip he did an interview with Fuad, and he said, is Hadi going to be as conditioned? Because he was talking about like the weakness of his opponents and then his own weaknesses and stuff like that. And he said, I agree completely what Samson said. He said, he's not going to be as conditioned from the back as he is from the front, because only when he did the Arnold Classic, he won the Arnold Classic and the Arnold Classic UK last year. It was the first time I've ever seen Hadi as crisp from the back as he was from the front. Because that, for me, the thing is, even when he won the Olympia, he wasn't crisp from the back. He was soft, but he was just really, really dense. And the thing is, look what happens. He loses a lot of his pop and fullness. I think that's a much, much smaller version of Hadi. Still very impressive, but I'd love to see him kind of as big as he was in 22, but with the conditioning of the Arnold Classics where he won it, because he's not fully. The people say he's got the best conditioning. I don't think he has. I don't think he does. I don't think he's as conditioned from the back as he is from the front. And I'm sure I'm going to get shit for this, but yes, the left and the right leg, there I still see a disparity. I think the triceps are starting to go. on the back. I mean, the thing is, he's still amazing, and but there's obvious things I can see in his physique that, you know, it's like saying that Samson at 90% size, is that still good enough to win the Olympia? It might well be. So if Hadi, you know, with these kind of things on his physique that weren't there 4, 5, 6 years ago, because if you look at the 2019 Vancouver shots, I mean, he was kind of perfect there, but he just needed kind of more size. But then as he's gone on, as the years have gone on, he's got bigger, but things have started to go a little bit. I will say that. And of course, you know, I'm going to mention the shoulders, because for me, I think some people just don't even know what that shine or that lump is. I think they just see it as muscle. But you and I know that it's not.
I hope they don't do a really dark background again this year. It was rough. It was rough.
I know. But, you know, it's Phil Heath made a comment to me a couple of years ago, and I said it was about a month out and about 3-4 weeks out. And I said, oh, he's done it again. Because remember in 2021, he got fourth, and Milos said he could have won it if the shoulders weren't like that. He said he thinks it cost him the title. And Phil, and I pointed it out, and Phil said, well, why would you point that out when it's at a point in his prep where he can't do anything about it? And it's like, I was thinking, well, the judges don't care. It's just something. It's a visual sport. So you're going to get judged on your strengths and your weaknesses. And it's a sport of comparison. So if you've got it and the guy next to you doesn't, and it's close, what do you think is going to happen?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I honestly believe that Olympia would have been his if his shoulders hadn't been jimmied up, as we say.
Yeah. I don't think I think he might have calmed it down. But the thing is, that's just years of scar tissue, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. I mean, it doesn't go away unless you get it surgically removed. Scar tissue is very, very dense. Yeah. I bet there's a lot of us watching, a lot of us who put everything in their glutes. We have these lumps in the upper outer quadrants of our glutes, like a softball. And those are never going away.
Yeah, exactly.
Tissue massage. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's talk about Derek Lunsford, another former Olympia champion, the current Arnold Classic champion. Speculation, because he's not showing anything full body right now. Can he peak all these times in a row? Because he did the Arnold show, then he went and did Pittsburgh. So that was early March, and I think Pittsburgh was very, very end of April or beginning of May. Mm-hmm. It was a long time to be in prep, and we saw the legs go up and down. 24 Olympia, they were down. 25 Arnold, they were up. 25 Pittsburgh, they were down.
Yeah, you're right. Completely agree.
That's the one thing that seems to be troublesome for him is keeping that leg fullness. And you know, we got some training clips that he's put up. His legs look massive right now, but can they hold that? Can they hold that fullness?
Ron, it always happens. You see updates of his legs 2, 3, 4 weeks out, and they look like that. They look absolutely incredible, huge, thick, dense, layered, conditions separated. And then something seems to happen when he gets on stage. Something seems to go where they're not as good. I mean, Samson, I watched that interview, and Samson said, I can beat Derek on his legs. And he's right, because that never happens to Samson. I mean, if it comes off Samson, it comes off overall. But with Derek, it seems to come off his legs. So just that it used to happen when he did 212, because, I mean, obviously trying to make a weight cap. And, you know, when you really suck it down, sometimes it'll come off body parts right at the last minute that you don't want it to. But honestly, I was thinking about this, and I've got to be honest. I think Pittsburgh will cost him the Olympia.
Yeah, I mean, that's my concern. And
he shouldn't have done Pittsburgh. When he was hitting the rumors about, I might be doing it, I was like, no, don't do this, because that's staying on prep too long when you should be shutting it down. Really focus, especially after he won the Arnold. It's a shame he couldn't have pulled out of Pittsburgh after he won the Arnold, because then he should have been shutting it down, doing a full off season, resting up, and not staying on prep to win that extra 100K, to do a show that he was committed to do. It's a shame he couldn't have pulled out of that. Because the thing is, the fan base really turned as well, but even more on him, because then Nick should have won, arguably. GPT said it. You know? So it's just such a shame that I think it's going to cost him, because I think trying to peak like that, peak, I think he didn't leave himself enough time. But I just hope he looks better than he did last year, because I think regardless, I think he's going to slip. I think he's going to slip to fourth, mate. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, you made a good point about the fan base turning on him, because prior to Pittsburgh, he was the golden boy. Everybody loved him. You know, he had some detractors, but I think after Pittsburgh and that very controversial win over Nick gained a ton of new followers and supporters. And I think Derek lost a good amount of, because it's unfortunate because he's not a judge. It's not his fault that he beat Nick. But that's the fans. They often do blame the athlete if they beat someone that they wanted to win.
But Ron, also some of the updates I've seen, I was thinking even like a couple of weeks ago, the updates he was posting, he didn't look granite. He didn't look kind of like that. I mean, when was that? How many weeks out was that?
Well, that was 3 weeks ago. So that's
not. You can say the lighting shit or whatever, but to me, that is not some. I'd be panicking if I looked like that at 3 weeks out. And I love Derek. I think he's awesome. He did exactly what I didn't expect at the Arnold Classic. I didn't see that happening. I don't think many of us did. I think there was maybe 1 in 100 people that thought he could come in and beat Samson at the Arnold. Right. So I give him huge respect for doing that because I thought he looked absolutely sensational. But I honestly don't see him peaking that well again because of the fact that I think he did Pittsburgh. So, and from what I've seen in the updates, I'm not seeing the magic happen, mate. I mean, like I said, it's a lot can happen, and lighting and all these different variables. But and because of what I've seen, I think he could fall in fourth. In fact, I saw an update. Who was it from? Somebody was giving their predictions. I forget who it was. I don't want to say it actually, but I saw it on Facebook. And they said that they had Andrew Jack beating him for fourth.
Wow. Yeah, Andrew. We'll get to Andrew, but Andrew's another one. I wish we could see what Andrew looked like.
Oh, I know. I was gonna message Andrew today because I spoke to him a few days ago because I really want him to do Prague. And he said I'll think about it. I'll think about it because I really want to see him. I want to. Because people going on about Keon, how amazing he is, and he is. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I think I want to see Prizzo and a guy like Andrew Jack or someone like that stand next to Keon just so you can see that there is a big difference between a 205-pound guy in shape, even with an incredible shape as Keon, to a guy like Andrew, who's a top 5 open Olympia. I think people need to see that there is a difference, and there will be a difference. If Andrew's on, I could see him taking out a Keon. But I just noticed he's no longer with BSN.
Yeah, he made that post today, and he's been with them since before he turned pro, I believe.
And Andrew's very loyal. I mean, I'll say that for him because, like I said to him, I said, "When are you going to do Prague?" And he goes, "I have to go with how I feel." But because he told me, he said, the reason I do the Texas show and I keep going back to that particular show and no other show is because I've had a good experience and I like the people that run it. So he's very emotionally connected. He has to be emotionally connected to what he's doing. He's not someone who does things by tactic or unless it was FIBO or something where he just needs to get a qualification. He's someone that really goes by his heart and his kind of integrity. And I really respect that about him.
Yeah, there's a variation. We used to call these Superman rows. I don't know why. The thing he's doing there. Oh, because you look like Superman at the top when Superman's flying.
Yeah.
He's always keeps under wraps. I've never seen him even in a tank top close to a show.
I know.
But you can see the side. There he was with Hadi because Hadi was in Dubai.
That's not Hadi. Look closer.
Uh-oh. Who is it?
Look closer, sure? Ron. Come on. I'm going to tell you off now, mate. I'm disgusted.
Oh, looks like Hadi to me, man. I don't know.
It's Kamal.
Is it really?
Yeah. Because I've seen that post pop up and they're going, "Oh, look, he's training with Hadi." I'm like, "Oh, guys, it's Kamal."
No.
That's so racist, you're right. And they all look the same, Ron.
Racist bastard. These Libyans and Iranians, they all look the same.
Yeah.
My son-in-law is Lebanese. He kind of has that look too.
Yeah. No, I can see why, because the thing is he's not in the forefront of the picture. And it kind of, if you squint, it kind of you could forgive it for saying it looks like Hadi, but it's actually Kamal.
So my apologies, everybody. Apologize. So Andrew, I mean, he's an X factor. We don't know where he's going to fall. I mean, I could see him as high as 3rd or as low as 6th. It's going to be a crazy Olympia, whatever happens.
I'm gonna stick with him in 5th. I think he's going to hold on to that 5th place. And when I did the tour with him last year, and he said, "Look," he says, it's called open for a reason. It's open that anyone can win it." And I kind of get what he's saying, but I think like I really made me think this morning when this person, I can't remember who it was. Like I said, it was they had the top 3 exactly how we had it. Samson 1st, Nick 2nd, Hadi 3rd, but they had Andrew 4th, and I was like, shit, I didn't even consider that. And I thought about it and I considered it. And then I thought, yeah, I mean, I could, it's the same arguments that we give for Samson with the height, the structure, the X frame, the small waist that we give to why he might beat someone like Hadi and Derek. Sorry, Hadi or Nick, with a height thing. But surely we can apply the same to Andrew over Derek as well, because if Derek's off and Andrew is looking, better than he's ever looked, then yeah, I could see him fourth. But like I said, I'll be honest, I think he's a lock for fifth place, mate.
Question: Do you think Samson has been improving or not over the past couple of years?
Improving, Samson?
Yes.
Samson or Andrew?
I'm sorry. Oh, here I go again. Andrew.
Oh, Ron. They all look the same. All these bodybuilders. Andrew. Well, I think when we saw this Texas footage last year, I remember I was out in the garden. I remember I was just messaging you and I was messaging everyone, and I think I rang a couple of people and we were like, "Wow, look at the improvements!" And he just looked phenomenal. I thought he won it quite easily, even though it obviously wasn't the lineup like at Olympia. Yes, I think he did, but I would like to see a bit of a jump in improvements, because if he has. And if he's big and he's improved and he brings better condition than ever, then I don't know. Yeah, it's tough, mate. It's tough.
I think size-wise, he doesn't need to be much bigger anyway. I want to see more hamstrings. I haven't really seen a lot of improvement in the hamstrings and the condition from the back. I still want to see that much better condition from the back, and that's Let's move on. Fourth place last year, so we really needed to talk about it. Martin Fitzwater, the Martian. Not a lot of full body updates either, of course, but we know what he looks like. We saw him earlier in the season. Can he still hold on to that? Oh, he's all taped up. That's not a good sign. Can he still hold on to top four? It's going to be a tough show this year, and I don't know if he can, but I don't want to write him off either. I
think it's possible. I'll be honest. I've he's kind of been in my sixth place kind of placing for months now, and I don't want to be influenced either by the fourth place he had last year or by the disappointment he had at Pittsburgh, because there's a guy that if you we slept on him last year, and no one really expected him to come into the top five. I don't think many people did,
right?
And arguably he should have been third. But with Martin, he's a comfortable sixth. But of course, he could beat Andrew. Of course, he could beat Derek. Could he jump up and beat the guys like Nick and Hadi? I don't know. Unless someone I don't know. I think sixth, but he could be. I wouldn't be completely shocked if he took third or fourth. But I think the most likely scenario is that he gets sixth place.
Yeah, I mean, his fans think he beats Nick all day, and Nick's fans think it's not even worth discussing.
When was this?
Oh, I'm just talking about Instagram comments back and forth from what the fans have been saying.
No, this content.
I'm sorry. So this is 4 weeks ago.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to make top five. I don't know. I don't want to say that because it's achievable, but to me, I don't see the drastic improvements he made last year, but it's not possible sometimes for guys to make drastic improvements. But he looks good. I'm going to stick with my sixth place. But
we're not doing predictions anyway, so you can say.
I know. I just hope he looks better than he did at Pittsburgh, because how he looked. Because when I saw him in Prague, as you know, he wasn't very happy with me saying that I think Bumstead should have beaten him. But I'll stick by that, because he wasn't the same Martin that was at the Olympia that took fourth. It wasn't the same guy. He wasn't peaked as well. He looked better on the second day than he did on the first day, because the judging was over Saturday night and then Sunday morning or whatever. Or was it Friday and Saturday? I can't remember. But Friday and Saturday. But I think he's So I think I just hope he really, really peaks, because otherwise it's going to be a disappointing year for him.
Fair enough. Let's see. Who do we want to look at next? So this is not in order. Kind of was, but we're moving down to just look at some really impressive. So Good Vito. Some people think he's going to do very well. Some people don't think he's going to do very well. He's certainly looking on track in terms of condition. There was every time I see him, I think no benefits now.
You just read my mind. I just sorry. I don't want to keep putting fuel on the flames there, mate.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't think it hurt him doing. He did. It was Pittsburgh. He did right. In New York Pro, and he had a little slight lat tear earlier in the season, right around Pittsburgh. Yeah, he had to pull out of Pittsburgh, didn't he?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean the back shots we'll show in a second. His back doesn't look like it's any worse for wear. He's got some of the craziest legs in the sport. He's a young guy. I think he's only 27 or 28. So this will be his first Olympia, right? Did he do it last year?
Correct, first Olympia.
Yeah, so high hopes for him. Look at that back. That's a great shot for him.
He looks good, but I just don't. I think a lot of the people in the industry get fooled by his updates. I'm not saying he's not a fantastic bodybuilder because he is, but I think there's some very, very carefully selected photos going onto Instagram. To me, he's very misleading with his Instagram posts because I don't think it translates to the stage as much. I think he's good. I think he's really good Vito. But I think what we see, some of the stuff he posts, because look, how many times have you seen him post a frontal bicep and then an Instagram account? You know, when these pundits, whatever, post him next to Nick. And to be honest, every single time he looks so much better than Nick. But let's be realistic. I don't think he's going to get caught out with Nick, mate.
No, I don't see him as a first call out guy. I'd be very surprised if he's in the first call out.
Yeah, he's good. Like I said, he's good, and give him a couple of. He's like let's see. I think the best is very much yet to come, and I think give him a couple more years at least yet. I don't think he's like him, like You know, I think you need to give these guys a couple more years before they really become even close to their final form.
Yeah, I mean he's a work in progress. He's getting better and better.
Essentially, yes.
I remember a couple of years ago the back shots were kind of cringy compared to the front. He's brought those up quite a bit. Yeah, let's give him a chance.
He's good.
Let's look at Neckzilla. Why not?
Oh God.
Rubia. Yeah, it's a great nickname. You know what's funny about Neckzilla? Not funny, haha, but funny odd is Kit Sanderson from MD Latino. It was probably 5 years ago. He was trying to tell me about this guy because he's from Colombia. Kit followed all the pros. He's like, and he was an elite pro at the time, I think, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, you gotta do a feature on this guy. He's got the biggest neck. I'm like, who cares about the biggest neck? That's right. I thought that was just the silliest thing, but and I completely wrote this guy off. Rubio, Neckzilla, whatever.
Yeah, but thing is, Ron, I mean, until a couple of years ago, he didn't look like that. Right. I mean, what was it last? When was he make? He turned Prague at 23, didn't he? Yeah, 23. But even a year before that, that wasn't the same guy. He wasn't anywhere near like he is now. So you're talking like 5 years ago. He just looked like a bit of a misshapen, weird, like structured guy, didn't he? Like the big neck and like no taper. But as he's kind of got bigger, and it's all happened in the last 2 years. As he's got bigger, his shape has improved, and now we see him as like a legit, pro show winner, and he's proved it by winning 2 pro shows this year. But I just hope he's in. I just want to see him. I want to see him conditioned from the back. I'll be honest. I just want to see. I mean, imagine him in Chryso's conditioning. I mean, that'd be a threat for top 6 Olympia.
100%. I mean,
but
he could be as high as 6th. Here I go again. He could be as low as 10th. But I don't see him out of the top 10. I think he's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't see him out of the top 10. If he's anybody who's not in condition, they're bounced out of the top 10.
Ron, I don't see him in the top 10, mate.
Wow.
No, I don't. Because think about the top. Okay, the 6 guys we've just mentioned. You've got like Bonag, you've got Brandon, and then you've got guys like Regan, Antonio. That's 10. That's 10 guys. And realistically, think about those guys and how they're looking. Is he going to be an Urs? What about guys like Urs? I mean, Urs could squeeze in the top 10. But the big question is he going to bring something we haven't seen before in terms of conditioning? Because if he turns to the back and everything's not the sharper than it's ever been, then no way is he making top 10. But it's all dependent on that conditioning from the back. That's my point. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, there's so many what ifs. We do our predictions and everything, but we're just speculating on what if this guy brings this brings this factor, that factor. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Nextzilla, we wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love him. I think he's brilliant.
Let's give some love to the old men doing the show. Old men in bodybuilding, meaning over 40.
42 old men. Cheers, Rod.
Yeah,
You're a geriatric then, mate.
Is that all Bonak is 42?
No, I think he's Bonak. He's he's about 40. He's a little bit older than maybe 43, 44, but he's not old, mate.
Okay, so this was the most recent update that we saw. This was posted just a couple hours ago. The back shots, he's still got that crazy, freaky back. I mean, I don't know, the conditioning overall, I'm not loving that.
Really?
Really, I mean, for some of these guys are much, much drier and leaner right now.
Yeah,
I don't think Bonak always pulls it together. I'm not saying it's not going to happen.
Bonak always, I think probably along with like Dexter Jackson is probably one of the most consistent conditioned guys. I think he's one guy that I think we saw at 2020 Olympia when he slipped to fifth, you know, and then he slipped out the top six. Then he was coming in flat, but he never ever came out of condition. And do you know what I like about Bonak on that riddle bicep? You know the little skin. It's like the skin's tearing between the quad and the hamstring. It's like these little. If you zoom right in, you can see on it, and it's something you don't really see very often. Certainly not on open guys. You see it on classic guys. But I love Bonak's conditioning. I love his physique, and I think he wants to go out on top because I do think, if rumors are right, this is his last year, and then possibly if he doesn't do any post-Olympia shows, which he probably will, this is probably going to be his last Olympia.
Well, the caption here, and this was posted a week ago, says one more lap.
There you go. There you go.
So I think that's it. This is going to be his 11th Olympia.
Wow.
Did his first Olympia in 2014. He missed 23.
He's awesome.
Yeah, so I would not be surprised. He's had a very, very distinguished career. He's won the Arnold Classic. He's been second in the Olympia. He's won a good amount of shows. And, you know, he was a 212 guy. So he's another one like Derek and Hadi that made that successful transition from 212 to open. He's won two
Arnold Classics. He's been second in the Olympia, third in the Olympia, but back in 2017, 2019. I mean, I just think he's so consistent. Could you really see him falling out of the top 10, given that he's done so well this year? And he can't. Thing is, with Bonak, he seems to get better as the year goes along. Like if you notice, he only just 2, 3, 4 shows. Like you saw at the Arnold Classic, I wasn't impressed with what he brought at the Arnold Classic, but then he did Detroit and looked incredible. Then he did Dubai and looked even better. And it's like he kind of picks up speed as the shows and the season wears on. And I think if he genuinely is, I think if he's putting it out there that this is his last year, this is his last year. And I think he's going to want out and go out on, not go out on top with like a win, because I don't think he's going to win the Olympia, but he wants to go out on a high and not kind of, not top 15, which I don't see happening.
Yeah, this was 7.5 weeks out, and he is working with Boss of Outlaw, who has got a great track record.
Yeah.
This was 2017 when he was third place at the Olympia. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't see him.
He should have been second there. I was at that Olympia. He should have been second.
2017 was Phil. Who was second?
Rami.
Oh, Phil Rami. Okay.
Yeah, I had him beating Rami 100%.
Wow. Fair enough. All right. Let's see who else we want to. I want to look at the other old man in the show. It's crazy. I mean,
Ron Harris.
I'm so old. I'm 56. These guys are all kids to me, but still.
I don't even consider a 40-year-old to be a Masters. I think the Masters Olympia should be 45. I had this conversation with Jake, and because apparently when they brought the Masters Olympia back, he wanted it to be 45 and over. But Alina said, no, to get the best quality competitors, we have to make it 40 or over. And that's what happened. He obviously caved in the end and agreed. Oh,
I think 40 is fine for that, but when they do 35, they have Masters 35 and up here in at amateur shows.
Silly.
Actually, I think they even do that in a lot of the Masters Pro shows. Which 35 it's not a master.
Maybe for like bikini or something. I mean, because maybe it's slightly different for the women's classes. But the thing is, in female bodybuilding, the women don't even get close to their peak in their 40s. They actually get better. When they get over 40, they actually get better. The guys seem to drop off a little bit, typically when they get over 40, but it's the opposite for the women in bodybuilding.
Well, my theory on that, I don't think it's a theory. I think it's pretty much fact, is most of the female bodybuilders get into the sport later in life as opposed to the men. Most guys that I've ever talked to, they start training somewhere between 14 and 18. That's very, very common. With these women bodybuilders, a lot of them I talk to, they don't even get into it till their mid to late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, I think it's to do with the way they train.
Mm.
You never see a woman ego lifting, do you? You never see a woman training. You ever look? Have you ever seen like anyone who's got muscle, a woman in the gym training, and you think you're training like, you know, ego lifter? I've never ever seen it happen. They always train properly. It's like, have you ever seen a woman with a ripped pec or a ripped quad, or you know, they always seem to they never seem to get injured because I just think they train smarter.
Well, that's why we have a phrase male ego and we don't have a phrase female ego, right?
Yeah. How many injuries you had, Ron?
So this is 4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon looks great. You know, he just fell out of the top 5 last year for the first time in many years.
Mm-hmm.
He's still a very legitimate threat. I mean, I don't see him ever getting the title back, but if he could hang into the top 10 for one more year,
yep.
And I don't know, he hasn't said anything about retiring, but I don't know how much longer he's going to keep doing this. I
can't see him and Bonac being out of the top 10. I just don't see it happening unless something goes wrong, which, you know, at the end of the day, they're quite, I mean, he looks in good condition there. So he's very experienced. He knows enough to sort of not do anything stupid at the last minute, which, you know, a lot of the younger guys can tend to do. They can mess up at the last minute somehow, or, you know, the stress or whatever cortisol gets to them. But, you know, someone who's that long in the tooth, like Brandon or Bonac, I just don't see them coming in off. So for me, to see them fall out of the top 10 is, for me, it's unrealistic. And like I said, you add that to the 6 guys we've mentioned before, you know, Martin, 6th, you know, Andrew and all those, like that's already 8 at the top 10 guys. So there's 2 spots left to make top 10. So when people say, oh, so-and-so's going to be top 10, it's like, well, think about who they actually have to get past.
Yeah, I mean, there's 19 men in the show, so 9 men are not going to be in the top 10.
Yeah,
we're not even going to talk about all 19. We'd be here all damn day. But everyone we're talking about today, I think, has the potential to be in the top 10. Case in point, Regan Grimes. So Regan has been in the top 10 before. This was his winning routine at the Cal State show earlier in the season. He was battling Sasan at all these shows. It was like back and forth with Sasan Haradi. Regan's been in the top 10 before. He could do it again. And this is a guy that massive fan base, doesn't matter anymore. But still, a lot of support out there for him.
To be honest, you know, we're doing this from what updates they've given. He's another one like Vito. I can never tell from his updates because they can be quite misleading sometimes, some of the pictures. And I'm not saying that they're photoshopping or anything like that, but I just think they can look amazing sometimes. You know, you see some pictures and videos and think, wow, like, you know, Vito's frontal bicep, and it's just that one standalone shot. And you think, well, God, how could anyone beat that? You know, somebody put a picture of Nick Walker next to him, and he just blows Nick Walker away, but then get him on stage and it's a different story. So I think, Regan's like saying he wants to be first call out this year, like a lot of guys do. I get it.
Sure.
But I have been seeing, but then on the other hand, I have been seeing some magic happen in the last couple of months, like just some basic training stuff. And he's hitting, you know, like for what limited glimpses he's given us. I think we will see the best Regan ever at the Olympia this year. I think he's kind of something switched in his mind, I think, in the last year or so. And I think, do you think it's because he's a dad now?
That could be part of it. I also remember he was on Jay's podcast, the Cutler Cast, and Jay gave him a little pep talk or a little that you really have to believe you can be Mr. Olympia. And I could see Regan was like soaking it in, and he was taking it to heart.
You know, sometimes like with Samson, like, you know, those things fall into place, like with Hostile coming on board and Milos coming into his life at that point. And, you know, they're like a kind of a make or break situation with their finances and where they're living and everything. And there's something just kind of, you know, the heavens open up and they get gifted with these situational things that basically changes their physical and mental state. And then they just kind of explode. You know, it doesn't happen with every athlete. But then someone like Regan, you know, sometimes like by having a baby, that can change your mindset on life, your attitude to what you do, the fact that you're the breadwinner maybe. And, you know, sometimes it can click something in their mind that makes me think, right, okay, I can just tick along and be great. But, you know, they want to go to another level. And sometimes, like, you know, maybe being around Jay has had a good positive influence on him. and as well as having a kid. I think maybe those two things, maybe we will see a best ever Regan this year. So, see, I mean, top 10, it's realistic, isn't it?
Hell, of course it is. Of course it is. He's working with, I don't know how long they've been together. Dom Super Slice is his coach now. He's worked with Aceto in the past. I think he's had a couple different coaches, if memory serves, because he's
trained Milos as well.
Yeah, and Milos put some size on him. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm impressed with these updates. I think he's got a very legitimate chance.
I do like his back shots, though. This is where, see, imagine Urs next to Regan. Regan will certainly hold his own, maybe even beat him in some of the front shots. The side shots, I think he could take Regan, but then Regan takes the back shot. So I'd be really interested to see Regan versus Urs, actually. That'd be interesting, because I don't know how I would call it. How would you call it? Who do you think?
Boy, oh boy, that's a good one. I haven't even seen like a virtual matchup between them yet, but
yeah,
that would be interesting. Obviously, Regan beats Urz's back. It's getting better, but this is next level compared to that. Look at the thickness.
Yeah, I mean, imagine Urs with that kind of those back shots.
Yeah, wow.
That's top 6. That's top 6 Olympia.
100%. You know, Urz's fans think he's already top 6 this year. We'll talk about that in a second.
No, not this year.
I don't want to I don't want Akeem to fall too far away from our conversation, because Akeem Williams has been top 6 at the Olympia. He's got a good amount of pro wins. His updates, he's always got all that tape all over him.
Have you ever had it, though? It's quite good.
My wife tried to put it on me one time. It annoyed me having the tape on.
I did it once. I got really taped up because my sports massage lady said I kind of roll my shoulders back, my posture and everything. And that was why I felt to isolate my chest. So she taped me right up and really pulled my shoulder blades together. And then I went and trained chest with it on. And I couldn't use hardly any weight, but the pump, even just the warm-up sets where it was pulling my shoulders back, my shoulder blades back, and I was really kind of pushing with my chest rather than my shoulders and triceps. It made such a difference. So I kind of, and then when I pulled it off and trained chest the next time, I didn't get the same sort of engagement. So there is something in it.
Okay. No, if it was a load of bunk, people wouldn't still be using it after all these years. So
yeah.
No, a lot of people clearly rely on it. So Akeem, such a strong guy too. That's 170-pound incline dumbbell presses here. And that was 6 weeks ago. So we wish him the best. We know he's, sometimes I kind of forget about him. These guys who've been around, they've been consistent for so many years. I have a very bad habit of sort of forgetting.
But I mean, you've got so many new guys coming through, Ron. I mean, you've got guys like Urs and Vito and Rubiel coming into the Olympia. It's easy to think that they're automatically going to step over the Brandons, the Bonaks, the Akeems. I get it. Even Regan's been around a few years now. I know he's only had one top 10 Olympia, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. But the thing is with Akeem, after that car accident, he had a couple of shaky placings and his back didn't look very good. And then when he did Romania last year, when he got second to Rafael, because I was there. Yeah. I was on the live stream and I was thinking, is this the best conditioned Akeem I've ever seen? And then he went and won the big man weekend, which qualified him for this Olympia. Yeah. He looked really, really good. It's almost like better than he was before when he was kind of coming 6th place, because he was 6th, 9th. And then was he 15th or something at the Olympia? He was really starting to slip. Then he had the car accident. It was like, right, okay, I think this guy is done now. And then he had a couple of shaky, and then he started climbing back up, and then he started really started nailing the condition, because someone like Akeem, he's so thick and dense. When you get a guy like that who brings great structure and that much size, when they're getting really good condition, you put them next to an Urs or a Regan and stuff, and they're holding their own.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think Akeem's going to fall out of the top. It's crazy. Again, I have 15 men in my top 10.
Oh, no, it's tough. It's tough, mate. Yeah. It's tough. Because, like I said, you've got a lot of new faces coming in who, like I said, the Rubiel, Urs, Jordan Hutchinson. Yeah. Who else did I just say? One of the new guys. Rubiel. There's these guys, these guys sort of could quite conceivably jump over the more established guys, even if they're in condition.
And we have another guy who's been top 10, Tony O'Burton. I mean, somebody's not going to make top 10.
I know it's tough, mate. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
He looks great. I mean, this is his most recent update. He's got the craziest back shots. He reminds me of so many ways of Dexter physique.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, his back shots are sensational. I like Regan. I wouldn't mind seeing Regan because I could see Regan and Tonio battling like 8th to 10th.
Oh yeah.
And to be honest, like Tonio, what the updates I'm seeing, he's looking freaking good. He's looking sensational. He's one of the guys that he's never really on my radar, but he always delivers. Like you said, like Dexter, every year you think, oh, Dexter's going to slip now. And then he just keeps bringing the condition, because think with Tonio, he's kind of like Samson. He's kind of not really missing anything.
Yeah.
He's got nice aesthetics, nice midsection. So he's the only thing I suppose he could get beaten on. I mean, imagine Rubiel in that condition.
Oh, good Lord. I mean, Tonio's got much prettier shape and structure than Rubiel. But Rubiel's just a freak. He's, I don't know, 5'5". I don't know how tall he is, but he's a huge guy. I want to say he's about 270 on stage, 275, something like that.
But then again, like if Rubiel or say Samson really go for condition, are they going to lose that freak factor? That even though like Samson's got a beautiful aesthetic physique, he does have a freak factor because of how fucking big he is and how much space he takes up. Is he going to look as impressive? So if someone like a Rubiel comes in this condition, is it going to be the same Rubiel with the kind of the thick hanging muscle? It must be tough getting that balancing act right.
It's the struggle to stay full and be as shredded as possible has been the bane of every competitive bodybuilder for many, many years. It's a very difficult balancing act, and that's why coaches, not one coach has a 100% successful track record of bringing their clients in full and conditioned at every show. It's not possible. There's too many variables with the human body.
Ron, there's something we maybe haven't considered. Just say Samson really brings like really, really impressive conditioning, but loses something. Could you see him falling out of the top 3? Even if he's shredded, but a lot smaller?
No.
Okay.
No,
because it's something I have to consider. It's something I have to consider because, like people have ripped on Samson with his conditioning, but what he brought to the Olympia at the finals last year was the best physique on stage. I think it was touch and go at the judging, but yes, he could have been harder, but everything else was so. It was such an appealing, such a great look. Would he? So if he comes in like really like say 20% smaller, but he's 30% more conditioned, is it going to be the same guy up there? I mean, you have to ask yourself that.
I mean, nobody wants to see Samson smaller and flat. Nobody wants that because then he's going to lose the overall. But shredded, he would lose that overall, the silhouette, the shape that his calling card. I mean, he's a big guy with great shape, and if you take that fullness and the size away to a noticeable degree, we're gonna have an issue.
I think Samson Marlin know what they're doing, and I think he knows because I've heard Samson like talk. I was watching that hostile thing, the clips I was watching. He knows enough to know what to bring. I think he's smart enough to know that because I think and also he's not going to want to. Otherwise, if he wasn't that confident that he could bring something better, he would just bring the same package he brought last year rather than trying to bring something different.
Sure. Urs Kaliczynski, the Miracle Bear. How high could he go? I guess that's the question. I don't see him. All apologies to the great fan base he has. He's not winning, guys. He's not winning the Olympia this year. Years from now, maybe so. We'll see what happens. But this year, first foray as an open Mr. Olympia competitor. If he can crack top 10, which I think is very achievable, that would be an amazing accomplishment for Urs.
I think I've kind of got 10th to 12th in my head.
Okay.
But he's my potential, like people think like Vito could make 6th or 7th. A lot of people are sort of calling that. And I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but Urs is my guy that I can't quite predict. But if I was playing it safe, I'd say 10th, 11th or 12th. But I wouldn't be completely shocked if he got as like say high as 8th or even 7th.
I mean, that 7th would be amazing.
Yeah, but who he'd have to beat though, mate? I purely based upon the back shots, I don't think he'll be top 8 this year.
Right. I mean, that's what he really needs to get going is that back. When that gets thicker,
couple more years, mate, and I think everyone's in trouble.
All right. So this is a two-time pro winner now, Jordan Hutchinson. So walking into the Olympia with 2 wins, he beat Quinton twice.
Mm-hmm.
Quinton's a damn good bodybuilder. Jordan Hutchinson, big guy who brings tremendous condition. Again, I mean, 10th place would be amazing. Top 10 would be amazing. And when I say I don't know if it's going to happen, it's just because look at all these names, look at all these people we've been looking at and talking about. These are the greatest bodybuilders in the world, and we have 19 of them on the same stage. I hope for the best. I hope he can crack that top 10. It's not going to be easy.
I think if the thing is, he's going to be conditioned. He's got good symmetry. He's put size on now. I think I could see him taking out like a Rubiel, because things with Rubiel is he. I can't say for sure whether Rubiel is going to be in good enough condition for the Olympia. That's basically my point. But could he beat like an Akeem or an Urs or guys like that, Tonio, Regan? Absolutely. But again, I think I'm going to put him in the bracket of Urs where he's kind of like 10th to 15th. I think he'll place. I don't think he'll be outside top 15, but I could see him around like 12th, 13th. I
mean, that'd be amazing for your first Olympia.
Yeah, 29 as well.
Almost, yeah, exactly. We're almost done. We got Brett Wilkin, who I always forget about the people that qualify the year before at the fall shows because they've been off the radar for the whole time. So this was Brett winning Legion Sports last year. He's been working hard, making improvements. Will this be his first Olympia? Because I think he qualified and he had to pull out.
First Olympia, yeah, gut problems.
Yeah, that's a whole thing these days is the gut health. But
I think it's to do with the shit food you've got in America.
It is pretty bad.
RFK is on the case. I'm telling you that now.
Oh, I mean, I'm blissfully ignorant. Like I don't want to know too much about that because I'm sure there's what am I? Because I have all that. I'm putting all that shit in my body every day. What am I going to do?
Do you know, actually, Jay Cutler was one of the first, right, to ever really talk about where he sourced his meat from. Like it was had to be grass fed, it had to be organic. And do you think about it, putting all that food in your body, and if they're all pumped full of hormones, and but then again, also the cattle's supposed to be full of clenbuterol, isn't it? No, because that's what clenbuterol has done. It's put in cattle feed. It's used to put on lean. You think about it. If you're fattening a cow up or whatever and getting it ready for market, you want as much lean muscle tissue on that as possible. That's what clenbuterol is used for. Apparently, they do analysis of American beef, and apparently there's small amounts of clenbuterol found in like per gram. Like it's like higher because that's what they put in their feed.
Unbelievable. Well, then we should all be shredded. Those of us who eat a lot of beef.
Chicken full of growth hormone. Way. Yeah, actually, American food doesn't sound so bad now.
Yeah, now when you put it that way, it sounds like we have a huge advantage over everybody.
Yeah. D-bowl fish.
So this is Brett the Butcher, looking really, really good. Wish him the best. He's going to be up against his good friend Martin. I know they're really good friends, training partners. So this is the most recent full body update. This was 4 days ago.
He looks good.
Looks great. Yeah, a little tight. I like that narrow, flat midsection. Great quad sweep.
He's improved.
He's definitely improved.
He's been working hard. He's been kind of, like he said, there's a good side and a bad side to qualifying early. The good side is that you qualify early and you've got all year to prepare for a show. You don't even have to try and qualify and going in and out of prep. Or you can, but also you kind of get forgotten about a little bit. So, I mean, you know what it's like. You could have shows 2 or 3 weeks ago, and sometimes I completely forget what the placings were, and because your mind is refreshed with the show you've just seen. So think about that, like 10, 11 months worth of shows. It is hard to remember. Like I only remember the fact that Akeem qualified at the Big Man weekend last November because I was with him in Romania. We went shopping.
Yeah, see, I forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was second to Rafael, and then he stayed on, and then went to Spain and got his qualification. And I was like, that's great, but come the Arnold Classic in March, no one's going to remember that you've even qualified.
I forgot.
But the thing is, Ron, it doesn't matter. It's only the fans. It's the judges still judge what they see on stage. They don't care. They're not, like it's only us when we're doing stuff like this, But
right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, last but definitely not least, we turn it back to the United Kingdom. Sasan Hirati, who did, I think, 5 shows this season. 6. And he won the last 2. Yeah. So here was his win in Toronto. I mean, that's persistence. This was another guy that was a victim. I don't want to call him a victim, but in the days of the point system, he wouldn't have had to do all those shows.
Yeah. Same with Quint.
He would have wrapped up his qualification. Love the guy's quads and that quality, the cross striations there and the teardrop. Beautiful.
Do you think, and obviously we're completely, for guys like Quint and stuff, but do you think maybe with the point system, they should maybe let 3 go through on points, or 2, something like that? Because, I mean, it would be cool to have seen like a Quinton or somebody else, or the fact that, if Sasan hadn't have done quite as many shows.
Yeah.
What do you think? Or do you think they should just leave it as it is?
I would say top 5, like they did before, because, like I said, we've only got 19 guys in the Open Mr. Olympia. I haven't looked at the list, but I think Classic has, I bet it's like 70.
But it's the last year it's going to happen, though, isn't it?
Yeah, men's physique, I think, is up there with probably around 70 guys, too. Wow. It's not going to drag out the show because there's not that many open shows. And you do have guys who are winning multiple shows in a season. So it's not going to clog up the stage with too many guys in Open Mr. Olympia.
I'd be curious to know if, like, say the point system had been in place this year, like it is for these other classic and men's physique. I wonder who would have qualified if you actually added up the points. I mean, Quint was certainly being in the Olympia, so he'd be very happy. But I wonder if the point system had been in place. I wonder how many names would be added to the list.
I can't really think off the top of my head. And guys in the comments, you always let me know who else had a bunch of top 5 placings this season but did not qualify for the Olympic. Sasan did, but then he kept going until he got the wins.
Joe Palaccio would have qualified probably.
Well, Joe, what was he? Second? He was fifth in Tampa and then second. No, he was third, right? In Tampa and then second in Texas.
That would have been enough points, I reckon.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Probably. I mean, I would have loved to see Joe in the Olympia this year. He's another. If you like Nick Walker, you're going to like Joe Palacios. It's a very
I to be honest, I give him a couple of years. He's going to be giving guys like Nick and Martin and stuff real hassle. But Sasan, I think he was a real lesson in tenacity of just keeping on going. And I'm really happy for him. He must be very excited this is his first Olympia. And it's awesome. And
that was a guy, like you said, he was gone for a couple of years, right? He didn't compete at all. 2018
to last year, 6 years he was gone for.
Wow, I mean, if that's a hell of a comeback. Usually, we see most people who do that, it doesn't go well for them.
Well, Lewis Breed could have been around back in 2012 because he was third in the British finals in 2011 before the split at 23, and he looked like the following year he could have probably got his pro card if today's kind of system was set up. So we could have been seeing like Lewis Breed around over 10 years ago because he took time off and he basically had a load of kids.
I'm glad that it all worked out for him. All right, well is there's only a couple guys I didn't mention because we've already been going for over an hour. You did have one more Olympia related topic that you wanted to talk about today, and you're going to surprise me. So here we go.
Ron, this whole shows like France qualifying for next year. Now, the reason they brought that in, because remember during COVID, it was 2020, they pushed the Olympia back to November, wasn't it?
Yeah.
December, wasn't it?
I think it was. It was like 3 days before Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so so all the shows after September, where the Olympia usually was, they made a qualifier for next year. But now they've pulled the Olympia back to October, and I've heard is it true that they're bringing the Olympia back to September next year?
I haven't seen a date, but I wouldn't be surprised.
To be honest, I've literally just been talking to Matthew about it for the Euromuscle show. Because I said to him, because he's asking about who potential names he'd like to have appear at the Euromuscle show next year. And I messaged him this morning and I said, mate, you need to bear in mind that if you want, I won't say the person's name, the athlete's name. I said, if you want so-and-so who's going to be doing the Olympia, you can't have the Euromuscle show before the Olympia because they won't come. I said, you can just have to rely on the Ronnies, the Jays, and also you can't have it on the same weekend of the Olympia because the Ronnies, the Jays are all going to want to be at the Olympia. And he went, oh shit. He says, you're right. He said, let me check. He says, because I haven't signed the contract yet for the venue. So literally, he's messaging me now, actually. So I think, what do you think now that it's been pulled back to October and September? I don't like this qualify for next year when it's 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks before this year's Olympia. What do you think, mate?
They have to do what they have to. There's only so many weekends in a year, 52 to be exact. There's only so many opportunities for these promoters to get the venue and all that. So I don't have a problem with it. I mean, you can't have qualifiers. A lot of people don't understand, why can't the show that happens a weekend before the Olympia, why can't that be in a Mr. Olympia qualifier?
Yeah, why not?
Because they need a good month to get all the travel arrangements for everybody. They don't make the tracksuits, I don't think, with the names anymore. But
how did it work pre-COVID?
That was a messed up. You can't apply that to any other year. That was a crazy.
No. I'm on about before COVID happened, when the Olympia was in September. If there was a qualifier 2, 3, 4 weeks before, that qualified you for that Olympia. It was only because of COVID going back to December and taking it to Florida that they actually made any show after September a qualifier for the following year. But now it's been pulled back to October. It's November actually this year, funnily enough. So I don't see that the argument still stands, surely.
I mean, I guess you could just fall back on the reason that they do need time to promote the show with the athletes and the graphics and all that. They want a good lead up to the Olympia, and they don't want to have somebody who's a big name qualifying at the very last minute and they didn't have a chance to include them in the because it is a business. It's marketing, it's promotions. They want to sell tickets. They want to sell pay-per-view buys.
So when was the first qualifier for next year? Which show was it? A few weeks ago?
France.
No, before there was another one before, wasn't there?
No, for this year.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I'm mistaken then. I'm mistaken.
Yeah, Tsunami show in France was the first qualifier, and then we still have.
Right. Okay.
It's crazy. We have British Grand Prix and the Mexico Pro on the same day. Those are both open shows.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, Hassan's doing the Mexico show.
Oh, busy. No, to be honest, he looked great. He just needs to drop. I mean, I saw a video of his coach saying, "Oh, you're detailed in this," and he was hitting poses for him. And I'm thinking, I'd be saying, Hassan, we need to get 6-7 pound off you, mate.
Yes, 100%. 280.
Yeah,
he put on 20
if I said that to Neil Hill, Neil said we need to be 270. That's what he would say. Or Dorian. If you said to Dorian or Neil Hill, if any is saying and they showed you Hassan at 280 posing, they'd say £10 off that.
Oh yeah, I mean they were all about condition. Dorian especially was
but like Rubiel, like I look at Rubiel. If Rubiel's so whatever he is on stage, you really the thing is you've got to take a little bit of muscle off that and a bit of fullness to get real detail and real conditioning.
Oh, I mean Rubiel, I think when he won Dubai, he was like 90%. 85, 90%. You could take another 4 or 5 pounds off that back, off the back more. Easily. Yeah, more. Probably more like 10. He's thinking about how big and heavy he is. Yeah.
Have you? That's a weird thing to say. Have you ever hugged any of these guys?
Hey, what?
Have you ever hugged any of these guys at the shows? They come up to you.
Occasionally.
I know it sounds really weird, but sometimes I've hugged them at the Olympia, and they're quite squishy.
Squishy.
Sounds ridiculous. Look, I know it sounds ridiculous. The only one I ever hugged at the Olympia was the Andrea Presti, and his body was like stone. Honestly, he was rock hard. Because like even when you shake the hands and stuff, the hands are real squishy and spongy, and I just sometimes think, are you in condition, mate?
Maybe Andrea was flexing when you hugged him.
Yeah, hit the free lat spread when I was hugging him, trying to show off the lats.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a fair point about the shows before the Olympia qualifying. It's confusing to a lot of the fans the way it's set up now because a ton of them thought this Russian guy was going to be in the Olympia. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
he's qualify for next year's Olympia.
But I didn't think of your argument that you said about being able to promote, like say somebody left it to the last minute, and then all the posters have been out for the last 4 weeks. I take your point.
Yeah, I want to see I just want to look real quick and see what they have up for a flyer on their Instagram. They should have some good stuff up by now. All tickets on sale now. Here we go. Just want to see who they have all the champions on there, of course.
Do you think they should take away this lifetime qualification thing from the Mr. Olympias? Because you would have had to have had he compete?
No, I think if you've won the biggest title in the world, you should be qualified for life. I mean, you could have someone who won it 20 years ago come back and sort of embarrass himself. That's always a possibility. But
Samir Banu did at the '94 Olympia, if you remember.
Yeah, it usually doesn't go well when they're
91. Yeah,
but we'll see. We'll see. I don't. It doesn't clog up the stage. Like, we don't have 10 former Mr. Olympias every year showing up.
Yeah, good point. Good point. And the thing is, Derek competed, Brandon Curry competed, at the Arnold Classic. So, and the thing is, now we've got the Arnold Classic with the crazy prize money. Now the guys are happier to compete more than once a year.
Yeah, in the comments, guys, tell me what you think the prize money for the Olympia will be this year. It was $600 last year. I think it's going to be $750 or maybe $1 million this year. Yes, crazy.
Yeah, well, I don't think they'll take it to $1 million. I think that's too big a jump.
Too big. We'll see.
I think to be honest, it has to come to a point where they say enough is enough. Because like I said last week, you can't just reward the first place open guy. They'll have to say, look, if you're going to keep bumping it up, and this is going to be this, that's in the UK we call willy waving, this kind of, who's got the biggest, sort of checkbook.
Yes.
And that's how they battle it out. The only guy that's going to benefit is the Open Olympia guy. Now you've got a lot of other divisions there. And the thing is, the Arnold Classic doesn't even have all divisions, so it's not like, so if the Olympia bumps into the 20K onto the winning, for every division, the Arnold doesn't even have all the divisions. So how does it? I don't know. I'm not sure about this. I think it's great for whoever wins the Arnold Classic and the Olympia, yes, but I just think I'm wondering where it's going to end and how it's going to end.
Well, the one thing that you just brought up, it actually seems to build up a lot of resentments in both the athletes and the fans of the other divisions.
Yeah,
they're only seeing these massive increases in prize money for the open bodybuilders, and they say bikini only gets this much, classic only gets this much, men's physique only. It really makes them wonder why are they really the main draw to the point where it's like we barely matter compared to them. If you look at the somebody winning $40,000 for winning one division and $600,000 for another division, that's a huge disparity.
But Ron, do you know what doesn't help? Is the 212 and the classic guys like Urs and Keon jumping over and doing these open shows now.
Yeah.
Because
right.
if like Bumstead jumping it doesn't really help there. Because it's like, okay, then if you're going to complain about the open prize money, if you're good enough, jump in the open.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's making less of a case for their own division by jumping into these open division things. And thing is, when they do well, it's actually detrimental to the division that they've made their name in. Like right. Keon in the 212 and Bumstead in the classic, because Lee Priest has brought it up many times. It's like, look, if you're good enough and if you want to complain about it, go and jump in the open and get the prize money. Then go where the money is. So don't complain about it. Just if you, at the end of the day, if a physique is good enough, it's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, Lee has been saying for years we don't need a 212 division.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah,
we're good enough. Everyone, he was about 212 on stage. Mm-hmm. He did pretty damn well. So
Sean Ray, leader brother. I know things have changed a little bit, but at the end of the day, some of these, the end of the day, look at the Hadi and Derek and Bonac. They're all X212s. Do you know what I mean? And they didn't exactly. They did kind of transform their physique a little bit, but so obviously clearly it wasn't their final form as a 212. That wasn't. The thing is, like Keon being 200 pounds on stage at the Olympia last year. That's kind of, he didn't struggle to make weight. So it's not like if he does an open show, he's going to look drastically different. Like Sean Clarida, if he's 185 in the 212 and then he jumps in he's not going to come at 220, is he? No. Because he's, it's like, do you know what I mean? He's not struggling to make weight. So, but the guys who do, like Derek and Hadi, the ones who really were struggling and having to lose, like Urs, having to lose muscle to do classic, they finally take those training wheels off and those restrictions off, and then boom, they're like I said, it proves that a good physique can be any height and any size.
I believe Clarita won the Legion Sports that year at 181 pounds.
Yeah.
Or less.
Yeah. What was Sergio? 260, 270?
Yeah, Regan was 260, 270. He beat both of them at that show.
There you go.
Good on you, mate. All right, well, wow, we've been talking a long time. So next week will be our prediction show. Mm-hmm. We've been talking about doing 2 shows. If Giles is up for it, because good Lord, we've been going for almost an hour and a half just talking about open.
If we don't split into 2, I'm going to have to wear Huggies pull-ups.
Yeah, I can't go that long without peeing.
I've literally tied it in a knot just as we're talking now.
We'll figure it out. We always do. Let us know in the comments what you guys want. We'll see. Comment regardless, whether you love us, hate us. It doesn't matter. Comments are all good for the algorithm. So comment away, my people out there. We love the feedback. Giles, thank you so much for taking the time. And you've gone almost an hour and a half without a wee. So I know I'm about to burst. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Giles, for taking the time. We'll see you at our last Olympia update show next week right here on Power Hour. Till then, appreciate you guys watching.